to Bachelor in Paradise the morning after. I'm Lauren, joined by
Mackenzie.
We have a lot of drama to break down today, from Dean leaving Kaelyn on her birthday
to JPJ ruining Krystal and Chris's wedding.
And we're gonna recap not one but two, but honestly, the first episode, Monday night's episode, didn't leave me with much.
There's not much to recap, honestly. It was a little slow. Definitely a filler episode.
For sure. But we have last night's episode, which we picked up the drama. We went to a wedding, and it was full of, I don't know about love.
No, lots of drama at the wedding. A lot going on, lots of attention, not on the bride and groom, but instead on John Paul Jones and Derek.
Okay, but we will get into that. So let's first jump into the pre-wedding status. So Kaelyn and Dean, dun dun dun.
It made me so sad. It's like we all saw it coming, but it was her birthday, and she even pointed that out. Like right when he goes to talk to her, she goes, "It's still my birthday," and then he takes her to have the talk.
And the talk. I mean, we've seen Dean kind of the whole season kind of trick her. There's like little pranks like, "Kaelyn, we need to talk." Yeah. So I feel like she probably, when he was like, "Kaelyn, we need to talk," was like, okay, like it's my birthday, we're gonna have a great talk.
Yeah.
But he left.
No, I know, and it made me so sad. I guess I'm not surprised. I mean, he has a podcast called Help, I Suck at Dating, so we had to know that dating wasn't his strong suit, but still, like, I kind of saw something between them. I saw a little spark, and so I was really disappointed to see that he actually left and took himself out of that.
Yeah, but why do you think he just walked away?
I mean, I think he knew, which this is the part that kind of frustrates me, is it's like, we always knew he lived in a van, he loves to travel, he doesn't want a typical life. So why go on Paradise at all? Because it's like everyone on the show wants either a relationship or an engagement at the end of it. So if you know that you're not looking for either, like why bother coming on and leading her on? And I think Dean is a really nice guy. That's what I gather. That's what everyone says about him. So it's like, I think he kind of stopped himself from hurting her, although in the end it just hurt her even more, you know?
Right, it just totally hurt her even more because he does go on Paradise, even though he is living in the van, living this single life, I feel like. And he only has eyes for Kaelyn, which made matters 100% worse. Kaelyn already had a rough time in Paradise.
Yes.
I think we're finally past the Blake thing.
I think so, although he still brings it up. Anytime someone new comes, he's like, they want Stagecoach. He can't let it go.
Like, Stagecoach Bachelor people, don't go to Stagecoach next year.
I'm afraid to go to Stagecoach next year.
I think we should go, and we'll see if they go.
Yes, get all the Bachelor tea.
Really hope Stagecoach is not a thing for Bachelor people. But she finally moved past Blake, and she was happy. And, you know, I think... Well,
one of the things that I thought was interesting that they said is they were like, Dean loves to like be nice to other people and like share his love with other people, but he can never give it to himself. And I think we've seen that in every Bachelor franchise show that he's been on. It's like, he's such a lovable person, everyone loves him, and that's why he has all these girls falling for him, but he like doesn't feel like he deserves that love. So that part was super sad to me, to like see him kind of self-sabotage and leave when he did have something really great going
for him. Yeah, he totally self-sabotaged. She said, "I know that I won't be able to get where you would need me to be by the end of this. I think I should go home. Our lifestyles are not going to be compatible coming out of this." What does that mean? She's not going to like the van? I don't know.
I don't think I would either, but she is an influencer for her career, so it's like I think she does have the ability to like pick up and travel when she wants. It's not like she's in a typical 9-to-5 job, so I think their lifestyles are a little bit more compatible than he was like letting on.
So we saw, though, that Dean might come back. What do you think it's about? Do you think he regrets it? Is he going to sweep Kaelyn off her feet? Will she go?
I think it will be hard for her to decide what she's going to do if he does want her back now, because she is dating Connor, which we'll get to later in the episode, but she seems really happy. She kind of has that mentality of like, you know, things were never going to work with Dean and I anyways. Like, she's coming to realize why he did it, even though it made her so sad. So I think if he does come back and ask for her back, which I think that will be what happens, it's going to be kind of hard for her to decide what to do.
I don't know. I think she might be quick.
I don't know.
So let's move on to more emotions with John Paul Jones.
John Paul Jones. I can't.
I mean, he's just a ball of emotions in this episode. We'll get into the whole wedding situation because I have a lot of opinions on that.
Same.
But we saw him get a little bit emotional, even though he gave his rose to Haley. He was a little emotional that Derek was having this budding relationship with Tayshia. And I mean, he says, I did not expect this to happen. I've been looking for a wife since I was 18. What?
He also then says later in the episode, I'm 24 years old, and I've been looking for a wife for 18 years. So he said both, and I'm like, wait, if that's true, you started looking for your wife at 6? Like, I'm confused. He did say both. That's why I was confused. I was like,
he wanted to find...
he's committed.
He's committed, and he's committed to Tayshia, and Tayshia's not. She's playing the part.
You know, in Monday night's episode, I got the vibe like she wasn't into him at all. Like she wanted nothing to do with him, and she was like, yeah, go on these dates, live your life. But then in last night's episode, I felt like she was a little bit more drawn to him than we kind of got from Monday night's episode. Like she still seemed like a little part was like lingering. I think it's because she has so much fun with him. Like Derek is the logical choice for her, and she's like, he's mature, he's all this. But like John Paul Jones doesn't get enough credit. Apparently he's a banker, he's a real job.
He's like a financial expert of some sort,
or
whatever.
Maybe Derek's the banker and John Paul Jones
something
is the
like
they both have real jobs though, and John Paul Jones has that fun, silly element, which I think Tayshia and Derek don't really have together. Like their relationship seems a lot more mature and serious to me.
Right. No, I totally agree with that, and I think Tayshia likes John Paul Jones a lot, and she can't kind of explain why, because we have John Paul Jones who's wearing the Speedo, who's super silly, and Tayshia's kind of a little bit more reserved in a way, and I think she doesn't know how to explain this growing feelings for him, which I think in the long run will hurt her, because she's not being honest and true with her emotions, and that's not fair to John Paul Jones.
No, not at all. And he was devastated. I mean, his cry was really intense. It totally caught me off guard because we've only seen him have this silly side. Even in Hannah's season, we never saw him like really emotionally invested. We just saw his goofy, fun side. So he was hysterically crying. But at first, I was like, oh my God, is he hysterically laughing? Like, I don't know what's going on.
Can you do this laugh for us, Mackenzie, please?
No, I don't think I can.
It was like I can't even. It's like
I don't think you can recreate it. It was one of a kind, just like John Paul Jones.
One of a kind. One of a kind. And I think this is time to get into our going to the chapel, and there's going to be drama. I came up with that.
So much drama. I love that. I'm really impressed. I'm very impressed.
So much drama. I feel bad for Chris and Krystal. We have them coming back to paradise exactly like 1 year after they met, and it was this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ceremony.
It was really
nice. I think we talked to Chris and Krystal a couple days ago, and they were just saying it was a way for people to see that they've changed, that they truly do love each other, that if they can do it, anyone can.
And I got that from the ceremony. Like, you really could see that they genuinely loved each other, that they were both different people than they were on their seasons of The Bachelor and Bachelorette. It was cool to see them come full circle.
Right. But drama in the ceremony, or after the ceremony. Thankfully, the ceremony was smooth sailing. We had a lot of Bachelor alums. So many. We had Becca, Kendall. I had to write this down because there were so many. Grocery Joe, Ben Higgins. Oh, and Ben Higgins brought his girlfriend.
Yes.
Ooh. Ashley, I, and Jared, our faves. And Angela. Oof.
Angela, Clay's ex-girlfriend. They dated for 8 months. According to Angela, they were talking about moving in together.
Babies.
About having kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
She said 2 days or a couple days before they broke up, they were talking about their baby names.
I mean, it's wild.
And she's there, and she looks hot.
She looked amazing, but can we just talk about, she made that aisle her runway, like, oh my God.
Walk.
The smize. She's making Tyra proud.
Yeah, she was
she really had it going.
I loved it, though.
And everyone noticed. Everyone was like, oh, She wants Clay to know she's here. And she's looking good.
And Clay's sitting there sweating.
Full sweats.
Full sweats. Full panic attack.
Of course.
And I feel bad for Nicole too. She's sitting there going,
yeah, that's not a fun situation for her to be thrown into. I mean, it's pretty awkward. She doesn't really know Angela. She's now been dating Angela's ex-boyfriend in an outside situation that Angela doesn't even know they've been together. So it is a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, though, if Annalise, who got sent home, who said she was Angela's best friend, I mean, I'm sure she had to leave Paradise and fill Angela in on what
she
was
had
going
to have. No, Angela knew. There's no way she walked that runway that amazing without knowing that Clay and Nicole were going to sit there.
Her face told us all.
Her face told us everything that we needed to know. Yeah. And so then they talk. I think Clay is a really, genuinely gentleman guy.
I agree. He's such a teddy bear to me.
Such a teddy bear. I just want to hug him sometimes. Totally. And so obviously that was uncomfortable, but I feel like
I thought he handled it pretty well, and we see that later in the episode, and I'm sure we'll get to this, where they kind of pick a select group to go into the party, and Nicole is not one of those people. I think it worked out the way it should, because then Clay knew he could just sit down with Angela and not have to worry about Nicole watching them or wanting to know what was going on, and just have a candid conversation with Angela. I mean, it's clear they don't see eye to eye.
Right.
Even after the conversation, I don't think that they're going to.
So you don't think there's going to be any rekindle of love?
I mean, I think this will definitely confuse Clay.
Yeah.
Just seeing someone again who you've kind of had out of your life for a little while. It's like out of sight, out of mind. So I do think he's going to be confused seeing her there. And it looks like, is she coming into Paradise next episode?
Of course she is.
The producers know what they're doing. We have to give it to them.
The producers know. I mean, we saw her walk up those steps. So we talked to Chris and Krystal earlier this week, and they said that Clay obviously had feelings for her. Watch.
I will say that you see Clay a little shooken by Angela, which I didn't expect to see. And so you're going to see all that.
Well, which is normal.
Because I was going to say, why?
Well, feelings come. I mean, you haven't seen her since you broke up with her on the phone, and she's looking stunning. She lost weight, and she really got into great shape. And I think that, you have that wow moment where, wow, that's my ex. And clearly there's probably emotions running through you that you can't even describe, nor did you probably think that you would have. But whenever you see an ex, there's still some types of thoughts that creep in. And being in that type of atmosphere, it's at a heightened level. So he does care about her.
Okay, Mackenzie, I think it's time to throw some shade.
I think it's time.
I think at my imaginary watch, it's time.
It's for sure time.
And it's time to talk about John Paul Jones. Ooh.
Oh, I love him, but to me, you just can't excuse ruining someone's wedding. Like, that was not the time.
That was not the time. That was not the place. I mean, I get it. You're pissed. You want to address Derek, which, let's talk about that. What the heck was even going on with that? They were talking about Instagram hooking up.
It seems like it was all based off of a conversation that was had between them off camera.
A locker room conversation.
Exactly. And then John Paul Jones references that conversation, to which Derek is like, well, I need to defend myself now.
Right.
And then John Paul Jones doesn't give him the chance. Which, if I were Derek, I'd be super frustrated by that too.
So we have JPJ accusing Derek of using his status to hook up with women